Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How are you?
I'm doing well. I don't know if anybody watched the Super Bowl, and
Kind of, I did.
I didn't really pay that much attention, although I was glad. I mean, being from Missouri, inherently a Chiefs fan, but I'm not going to make a bold statement. I think I could have played better.
Oh,
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I could have done any
Ouch.
worse. Maybe not at quarterback. Maybe at other positions, but was not a great game. If you're a Chiefs fan, if you were an Eagles fan, then yeah, it was pretty good. I think most people were happy the Chiefs didn't win from what I can glean.
really?
I mean, it happens when somebody starts winning. Is people just inevitably just don't like the people that are winning.
Well, and down here too, there are way more. I feel like there's way more Eagles fans than there are Chiefs fans, at least down in Florida. Maybe it's just because it's more East Coast.
I mean, you don't find many Chiefs fans, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
But I watched the first half kind of, and I'm like in and out. All I know is that when the first half ended and they were down by 24, I was like, okay, this isn't going so hot. And then bedtime and everything, and it was like, I don't really care about the Super Bowl, to be perfectly honest. So it's just kind of like whatever.
Yeah,
food, whatever.
I was kind of in and out. I mean, I was feeling better on Sunday because I was sick most of last week, and so I was doing some. I think I was cleaning up, and I was just kind of doing stuff that a normal human does, just after you're feeling better. And then I looked up, I checked on the game, and it was, I think at that point it was 17-0, and I was like, that's not good. And then I saw them get down 24-0, and I was like, yeah, it's probably over. Because I think I saw one series as well, and it just did not look good. And I was like, well, okay. So
Yeah.
I kind of was in and out of the rest of the game. I was hoping there were better commercials. There were a few that were
There were a few.
okay. For the most part, though, all the commercials were online before the Super Bowl anyway.
That's so annoying. Like, why do that?
I mean, I get it. They want to get more exposure, I suppose, but
like, isn't the whole appeal of buying the spot is so people would watch the Super Bowl and see it then and then put it online?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
don't know.
run a Super Bowl ad campaign. So
Nor have I.
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But yeah, all in all, it was whatever. But
Yeah.
I mentioned that to just say that the Super Bowl parade was at Disney World.
It was. What was the MVP's name?
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. And he appeared in the parade, and I know some people were excited about that. So that's pretty cool. Was it in Disneyland last year?
Yes.
Okay, that's why. Okay. But yeah, pretty cool.
I think it alternates.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Or like if they're closer to like Disneyland where they play, they'll have it there.
Where was the Super Bowl at?
I don't know. I don't remember.
No, it was in Louisiana. So,
Oh, okay. Well, Disney World's right there then.
But we do have some
happening?
news to talk about, which we'll discuss. And then
Not that much news. Just a little bit. Just a smidge.
A smidge of news, as
Smidge of
Jason
news.
says.
Yep.
I don't know. What's technically a smidge?
2 stories. That's a smidge.
That's a smidge?
That's a smidge. Just 2.
What would be 3?
A few.
Oh, okay. Well,
There you go.
Learn something new.
There you go.
And then we also have, given it's Valentine's Day soon, which is a made-up holiday
Oh my
by
gosh.
corporations, but nonetheless, it is something that people like to talk about, is date night ideas for around Disney World.
Yeah.
If you're going to be around Disney World and you want to participate in the corporate holiday that is Valentine's Day, you can do that. But before we do that, just want to remind everybody, if you're watching us on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're not watching us on YouTube and you would like to, you can watch us on YouTube, as you might think there, over at CTM Podcast. And we have video versions of the show over there. We also have show clips you can check out. And we were almost on that channel at almost 500 subs. We just started not that long ago. So it is growing. So if you'd like to join over there, we'd love to see you over there commenting or liking it, whatever you'd like to do over there. And of course, if you're listening on good old trusty audio podcast form, that probably performed better in the Super Bowl than the Chiefs did, just by proxy of not playing. That you can find most, if not all, the platforms. We are on those. Capture the Magic Podcast. If you just please subscribe on whatever platform you listen on and leave us a review, we'd greatly appreciate that. And of course, if you're looking for some new theme park apparel or just apparel to wear around the house, you can check out Capture the Magic Apparel, as we have our own clothing company and we make it all in-house. We print it in-house and we ship it out to you, and we also design it here as well. So you can check them out over at ctmapparelco.com. And for Valentine's Day, you can still get 20% off by using the code Valentine's Day, and that'll get you 20% off your entire order. Plus, if you order $50 or more, you get free shipping as well. So you can get some good savings there. We have some new designs up in the shop. We print on very comfortable shirts. We have some poly cotton blend shirts that are my favorite, the most comfortable types of the next level. We also have comfort colors. If you like a fully 100% cotton shirt, we have hoodies and sweatshirts and anything else you like printed on, we can do that as well. So again, if you want to check that out, go to ctmapparelco.com and use the promo code Valentine's Day, and you will save 20% off of your order. So, all right, well, let's get into the news. The first one is that new info has been revealed about the Flower and Garden Festival starting next month.
Yeah, so we found out that we're going to have a new topiary at the entrance, which is awesome, and it's going to be Moana, Maui, Pua, and Heihei. I like those guys. Wasn't she a new like a topiary in the front like a couple of years ago?
Moana may have been at one point. I don't recall.
I don't remember. But yeah, so the full list of topiaries is coming. It's on the Walt Disney World website. So if you're curious about those, you can look it up there. And then I'm curious, are they going to have those projections on, remember Dante from Coco? Remember they had the projections on him and it wasn't working right for a little bit and then they just turned it off?
At the front?
No. Remember he was in Mexico and they had a light projected onto him?
I do not recall this.
Oh, you don't? So they had it on for a little bit and it worked for, I don't know, like a couple weeks or something. And then it skewed off a little bit and then they just turned it off altogether. So I wonder if they'll have that again or, change it to make it better. I don't know. But
considering I don't recall it would be brand new to me, at least that I remember. Where would the projection, where was it at?
So Dante was in Mexico, kind of like right in front of the booth over there, and they had the projection light kind of right by the booth, and then on the other side was Dante of the walkway, and it just projected almost like a neon looking light to illuminate him.
I don't recall this at all.
Oh, you don't remember this?
No.
We even walked by it and I said, "Hey, there's the projection." No? Okay.
I believe you. I'm just saying my brain decided not to retain that piece of information because I just do not recall it.
All right. Well, we'll see if that happens. But there is going to be a gallery of topiaries and flowers that will be found at Communicore Hall. So it is getting used for a good cause.
It's a good cause.
I think, as far as I know.
Oh.
I don't know. And then Farmer's Feast will be the outdoor kitchen that's inside Communicore Hall. There will be 2 new outdoor kitchens, Yacht Grub and Beach Grub. Can you see what that's going to be based on?
I could take a guess.
It's Yacht and Beach Club.
I could take a wild guess.
Yep, Yacht and Beach Club themed, and it's mostly seafood offerings is what they said. And they're also going to have a Play-Along Bay play garden in between. So this is along the Imagination walkway. So you know where the mural is right now for Festival of the Arts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they've got the place where you go in to get the paint on that one booth, and then on the other booth it's the Craftsman's Courtyard, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So those are going to be the 2 outdoor kitchens, Yacht and Beach Grub. And in the middle where all the seating was, they just took that out and they're going to put a playground.
Well, that's where they used to have the playground.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Okay. Are they still going to have the other one as well?
I have no idea. I would assume yes, because why take that out? Have 2 playgrounds. Kids like playgrounds.
I bet they'll take the other one out.
Don't say that. Maybe they'll put more seating over there.
It's possible.
Because if they're going to take seating out, I wish they would put more back in, especially over there where there's nowhere to really sit. I don't know. We'll see. And then Inside Out 2 is going to have a themed garden in the World Celebration area. That's going to be new. We also got a sneak peek of the merchandise coming, which includes 30th anniversary orange bird items, Spike the Bee lug bag, and an Alice in Wonderland mouse ears, which are pretty cute. And of course, they'll have other stuff like Minnie Mouse collection, and sometimes they do Figment, sometimes they don't for Flower and Garden. I think it just depends. And then Mickey the Farmer was one year. It just depends on what they have. But they'll have more coming out closer when we get to the festival. So, yeah, that's all we know so far.
Well, that is good to know on Flower and Garden. The next news story we have, or the last one really, is a new class action lawsuit has been filed against Disney involving the Disability Access Service, which probably coincides with what we talked about last week, where they changed the wording by taking out a single word out of it, describing who qualifies for the DAS pass.
I believe you are correct. So, yeah. So yesterday, or I guess it was last week, we mentioned that they had updated the verbiage on the website and took out the word only. So instead of saying the update, it said the restricts guests to the service due to the developmental disability like autism or similar disorder are unable to wait in a conventional queue for an extended period of time. And they took out the word only out of that. And I think it was in response because they knew this lawsuit was coming. So they just went ahead and updated it.
More than likely.
So what the lawsuit is basically, I'm not going to read the whole thing because obviously it's a lot. But it's basically, it's a class action lawsuit being filed against Disney and Advent Health, actually, due to privacy laws, because you're giving more like your medical information, and the fact that the accommodations they were offering weren't sufficient enough. Basically, were the two things. It's filed in California, and this is more against California than it is Disney World, I believe, because in California, you can do this whole process where you talk to the cast member, you talk to the Advent Health nurse, and you can speak to in public. So you're talking about your information in the front of the park, and that was a big part of it because there's some California law that they were talking about with that. And then as far as the accommodations they were offering for people that didn't qualify as return to queue or stuff like that, they're saying that isn't sufficient for a lot of these disabilities or accommodations or special needs that these people are needing. So we figured that this would happen. I think we even said it before this was instituted. We're there's going to be lawsuits.
I would assume. Yeah. I'm actually surprised I hadn't heard about it before now, but it makes sense with the timing that they changed that verbiage on saying only there. But I don't know.
I think that's.
Is there
funny.
Advent Health out in California?
Yeah, that's the company that does it.
They handle that for Disneyland too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're all over the lawsuit. So
okay. I thought that was more of a regional Florida thing than it was also something in California. But I have no idea about stuff in California.
Oh, it's actually Inspire Health. My bad. Not Advent. It's Inspire Health. Okay. I forgot who it was. But yes, Inspire is the one that does the thing. So
okay. I was saying Advent's more of a
sorry. Yes. Sorry. Inspire. It was inspired to say Advent. Just kidding. But anyway, so that is happening currently. If you want to read the lawsuit in its entirety, I will put it in the show notes. But yeah, I know there were a lot of people that were upset that didn't qualify starting, I think it was in June 18th, I think is when it started. Mm-hmm. And I can understand if you were qualified for it for years and years and years, and all of a sudden you don't, you get acclimated to using the benefits of having a DAS. So I'm curious to see if anything that they actually did in the changes of this whole system, if it actually was violating anything, you know what I mean? Except for the in-person interview.
Right.
But the accommodations they offered, I don't know. I guess it just depends on the individual person. If you have a physical disability, I remember Disney was trying to accommodate with okay, use a wheelchair or whatever. And I know it doesn't always help. I don't know enough about it to really make a lot of opinions about it, but just to say that we knew this was coming. I guess. I don't know.
There was even instances of kids with autism that were being denied. Even the people that was saying it was specifically for, and I'd read some articles of kids with really severe autism. Yeah. And then they still tried to go on the trip and meltdown and didn't work. And I think also it's just the fact too of there's probably no workaround for this, but you have to buy your ticket and then set up the thing. So a lot of these people are even if Disney will give them a refund, you're still forking out a decent amount of money just to be able to preemptively see if you're going to qualify for this. And again, we've talked about before, we've never used the system, so I can't speak to it. So I have no idea versus how it was versus how it is now. All I know is there's a lot of people who have been very upset with the way the new system is, very restrictive on who gets it, and seemingly almost like a crapshoot on who's going to qualify for it. And I can imagine that being very stressful.
Sure.
If you've got people in your family or yourself that are trying to plan a trip, and then this is another obstacle or hurdle you got to deal with. So I've always hoped they would come to more of a resolution, maybe like Universal did, where they sort of have that like day of pass you can go get. You can still qualify for the other one that they have that I think it's for like 18 months or something like it's a longer period of time in which you have it. You've got it for a while. But yeah, it's been a source of controversy for sure. But it's one where I just don't have an opinion on it because we've never used it. So I don't really know. I understand both sides of the situation. So. But I don't know from a legal standpoint if Disney has done anything that's technically illegal or, anything like that. But
yeah.
So I guess in the comments or online, let us know if you have any experience or what you think. Because I legitimately really don't have an opinion on it other than it does look bad when you've got, severely injured people that aren't able to get a DAS or even some kids with autism that can't get it. Like it doesn't look good. But I don't know other than that, really, the logistics of it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, pretty much.
All right, well, I guess we do have one more news story, but it kind of coincides with a poll time. So we'll just kind of do this all at the same time. So there was a recent article written by the Wall Street Journal that basically said people inside of Disney were growing concerned about the price hikes, as apparently some internal surveys had shown that the guest intent to return percentage was dropping, meaning people that they survey people and they're saying what are the chances of you coming back. That is getting lower and lower, and basically the whole article they kind of teamed up with touring plans, had some data in the article, and but the whole thing was people inside of Disney were growing concerned about this, at least some. And some of the things that were pretty wild in the article, and then we'll go into the poll time here, was one of the things that stuck out to me was that they said, in terms of a Walt Disney World vacation cost, data from Touring Plans says that a typical 4-day visit to Walt Disney World had jumped $1,000 in 5 years, adjusted for inflation. And in that, it says the report says that almost 80%, and that took the tally up to $4,200 roughly. And in that report, it also said that 80% of that jump in price is for things that were previously free.
80%.
And 20% of the cost came from Disney raising prices faster than the rate of inflation. But 80% of the additional cost in 5 years are on things that used to be free or whatever you say, included in your trip. I thought that was wild. There was also Disney rebutted back in the article and said that no, it's not true. You can go on a 4-day vacation for as little as like $3,000. More than likely they still have those, the low end days on price wise don't change very much. So more than likely, they found a 4-day pocket in there where you could technically, while they're not wrong, you could go for $3,000, but that's not like that price is available year round. It would just depend on when you travel. So Disney also responded to this. They had a statement they released. You
want to talk about that before we do our poll?
It's not really much. They basically just come out and say, like, they're Disney and people love going to Disney. They cited the current discounts that they're offering, which...
They did do that.
But they cited the discounts. It was all Florida resident discounts. And it's also discounts that they're doing in response to Epic Universe opening, which I thought was kind of funny. They didn't come out and say it was a direct rebuttal to that article, but it came out within like a day of that article. Yeah,
it was like the next day or 2 days.
So it was clearly trying to put out some PR refuting whatever the article was saying. So I felt like I don't really think it proved the point they thought, because it's not. They do have the discounts, but a lot of the discounts they were talking about run out by like May. Yeah. So it wasn't they were touting a lot of the Disneyland has that $50 offer for kids, which is a good deal. They don't have it for
But
Disney World. but
that's over in March.
I know.
So it's not even like the whole year. It's just like
Right.
a couple months, which again, discounts are great to have. But they also mentioned that they said they haven't increased the lowest price ticket to Disneyland since 2019. But they didn't say anything about Disney World.
Right.
Because
Well,
Disney World is not the case.
they
That
just
definitely
recently did raise the lowest price ticket, but they usually will leave that one alone for the most part.
Yeah.
So they can, technically they can say, hey, we do have the option. It's $3,000 for a 4-day ticket thing. Even though most dates that you're going to go, you're probably going to pay closer to $4,000 plus.
Yeah, and as a blanket statement, the CFO said, "We know our parks create lifelong memories for families, and we've worked hard to make a Disney vacation accessible to guests of all income levels. With strong guest satisfaction scores and intent to visit ratings, our parks remain the most popular offering in the industry." Okay, that may be true, and maybe you may have a lot of people that say, "Yes, we will come back," but what the Wall Street Journal article was saying, what even touring plans was showing with their own data, was saying, I don't know how true that actually is. Like how many people are actually returning or able to return.
Yeah, that was like the only thing that I think they directly refuted, because the whole base of that article was internally it was showing that people were telling them they weren't going to return, or more or less people were showing that, and they were saying that that's not the case.
And yeah,
Whoever obviously they don't have internal data from Disney, so it's hard to know who's right on that. But their article did see, to show that people inside of Disney had been growing. I think the term that they used was that the company had become addicted to price hikes.
yeah,
They had another instance where they talked about, which this is kind of interesting because maybe it shows how this came about, was when Iger came back, he was growing concerned about the reputation of it being expensive to go to Disney. He asked D'Amaro to come up with a list of things that the company could do to win back fans. D'Amaro reportedly offered up suggestions such as removing the parking fee at hotels, adding more dates to the lowest tier of ticket prices, and that it could freeze the annual price increases for tickets. Iger liked 2 out of the 3 suggestions, keeping the annual price increases in place.
yeah.
So it's interesting that it seems like the removing the parking at hotels was like a consolation thing. I've said all along, though, I mean, it's never been cheap to go to Disney, but given how much things have changed so quickly and how much the prices have gone up so quickly, you would probably get a lot of goodwill if you did come out and say, hey, you know what, we hear you, like times are hard and people are trying to make ends meet. We're not going to raise any prices on tickets for like 2 years. You're still going to make money. But the fact that like they wouldn't even do that is just like a goodwill gesture is kind of telling, because if you look at the annual earnings report, the attendance essentially has stalled. It hasn't really dropped, nor has it gained, but their revenue keeps going up because the prices keep slowly ticking up. So you're essentially charging either the same amount of people or less people more money to go. And I do think this model has a ceiling, it has a wall. Eventually, I mean, you just can't raise prices in perpetuity forever. And I'm wondering if maybe it's starting. This is the beginning stage or in the middle of maybe just people being like, not that they don't come back, but they'll just be like, maybe we'll wait a couple of years. It's not that people aren't coming back necessarily, but they may just not be coming back at the rate they used to. When people used to came yearly or twice a year, they may cut it back to way less, and that will affect them as well. But it was interesting just seeing that article out there in Disney, which they normally don't do, basically openly refuting it with their own little statement they put out. It definitely seems like something that Iger was like, put out a statement because this looks bad or something like that. But we bring that up because Jamie did ask a poll in the Capture Magic Facebook community here.
Yeah, so I asked everybody, do you think Disney, Walt Disney World specifically, has become too expensive for the average tourist? Kind of giving, this is a bunch of Disney people. I want their opinions. Like, they go to Disney a lot for the most part. Do they think it's expensive? And 85% of them said yes.
Wow.
That's a lot. When you think about that, they all agree that it's too expensive for the average tourist. Only 2% said no. And 13% said it depends. So some of the comments, and I do want to read a few of these just to give an idea of what people are thinking. So someone said, Yes, prices continue to rise while they only minimally expanding the park. A good portion isn't even expansion, it's replacing. That's a good point. That drives me crazy. We're DVC members, so we aren't feeling all of the price increases, but tickets are getting out of control. I recently priced out tickets for our December 2025 trip, a 4-day non-hopper, and estimating what tickets would be to the Christmas party will be $3,500 just for tickets.
Jeez.
And that, I mean, like that alone, just looking at that number alone, yeah, your average tourist, your middle class, vacationer, that plus the hotel, plus, getting to Florida and food and everything, that's just not, that's just out of the question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And especially, yeah, it's just, anyway. Let's see. Somebody said it's getting increasingly more expensive, but there are still plenty of dates that rooms are hard to find and the parks are full. So I guess it's not too expensive. Maybe people are just in debt up to their eyeballs and don't care. In fact, that is true. In fact, I think the same article said that way more people are going into debt just to take a vacation.
Yeah, there's a Lending Tree article or a survey that was last year sometime, and it was something like almost 80% of families were going into some form of debt.
It's insane
to go on a Disney vacation.
It's insane. Someone else said it's always been an expensive luxury but still doable for a family. As a single mom, I could take the 3 of us on a yearly week-long vacation staying on site at a value in the early 2000s. I am now spending more than just me for 4 nights. There's also a lack of included items. I could justify staying on site with Magical Express, package delivery, and free extra magic hours in the evening. I feel like now everything is an extra cost.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's not only just the price of the tickets. It's also, back in before COVID, you had Fast Pass, you had the magical, the extended magic hours. You had a lot more perks. You had Magical Express. So your ticket was worth more. Now your ticket is more expensive and it's kind of worth less because not only that, if you want to use, Lightning Lane, you have to buy that. And so that's an easy, depending on how many people in your party, that can be $100 a day on top of everything else. So if you think about your ticket cost, that's essentially the entry point to that. Plus if you want all the extra things used to be included or not. So it's very much, I've always felt along Disney they saw the demand they had. And because it is, it's still it's a world-class vacation destination. It's a place people love to go. But I think at the same time, tickets have risen. The accommodations and the level of service have not risen with it. In fact, I would argue the maintenance and things like that have tailed off. And I think because of that, when people start paying that much more, you do get a little bit more like, okay, is this like you get a little more, you scrutinize it a little bit more. But the sentiment, you can see it everywhere. Even if you're pro Disney, even in the group, you can just see where you can still love going to Disney and say it's great, which Disney is still a great place. I don't think it's as great as it used to be. I don't think the parks are run better now than they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's still a great place, which is a testament to what Disney has built. But at the same time, you can still sit there and say the pricing is getting crazy. And I think that's a fair thing to do. And not everything has to be, you don't have to love it and then love everything about it without any criticisms. I think it's very fair to criticize things that you do enjoy, especially when you talk about the pricing of things.
Well, yeah, and I've got 2 more that I want to read because I think they're great points. But so Samantha said, it seems expensive until you compare it to other touristy stuff. Food prices at our local zoo, way more than Disney counter service. And don't even get me started on the price of tickets or food at like ski resorts, concerts.
For sure. We've talked about that before.
Sports, like
even SeaWorld.
Like she's like, I would argue everything is getting too expensive for the average family. And like, girl, you're not wrong. Like it's crazy. It's crazy how everything is expensive.
It's not just Disney.
No, it's not.
But if you look at them where they were to where they are now, you can definitely see a very aggressive tick up in the pricing since especially let's say 2018, 2019.
And here's I think is the best point of this, just in my opinion. This is from Ashley. She says, so here's my take. Least expensive version of Disney equals not fun for version of Disney. It's getting expensive no matter what, but it's getting expensive to enjoy it. Like, yeah, you could go stay in a small 1-bedroom or one room value on a property while paying for some sort of hours long ride share transportation there. But then you risk being smashed into an oversized resort with cheer teams or school group, etc. Then you could not get in any earlier or late hours, not pay for any sort of lightning lane, but then you're stuck not riding everything you want to and waiting in the heat for a long time. You could pay for a basic ticket with no park hopper, but that means not being able to experience multiple parks in a day. All this to say, like, maybe the most basic package could still kind of be reachable to some on the lower economic side, but would it even be an enjoyable trip for anyone?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a really great point. And I think that is what Disney tries to justify, is saying, like, look at these lower price tickets. Look at all this stuff. You can still go to Disney and you can still travel there. We're like, okay, cool. But when you price your tickets higher and then you also charge for the lightning lanes now, which honestly, if you think about lightning lanes as if like it was included in your ticket, like they do in Disneyland, that means your ticket ends up being like $250 a day.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it like that and what used to be included, it's just like a gut punch. Like, oh, that's so expensive.
And it wasn't that long ago that the tickets were barely $100 too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
just a lot to think about. Like, yes, you can go, but is it like the Disney vacation that they advertise? Is it the Disney vacation that social media portrays? I don't know. Like, especially if you don't have that much money to spend or don't want to spend, like, you're kind of limited on how much you can do. You can still enjoy it, but only to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I mean, I think the thing people used to really love about how Disney was set up was everybody in the park was on the same level. So everybody, you pay your ticket fee no matter if you had a lot of money or no money, you were able to get in, and everybody had fast passes. Like, everyone was on the same level playing field for the most part. And it's definitely become much different, whereas if you've got more money, which again, I'm not mad about this. I'm just saying this is what a lot of people talk about, and it's reality.
Yep.
Is now it's like if you have the means, you have a much different experience than other people are able to do. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's life. It is. But when you just even look, not even, I mean, barely 5 years ago, 6-7 years ago, it wasn't that way.
Right.
And that's a place you could escape to and just say, hey, if you're able to get the tickets together, you got fast passes, you had the same experience, like it was still a place you could escape to. And, I think that everything else has gotten more expensive as well. And it's not just a Disney issue, but it's just one of those things where, you see Iger have the money that he makes, and you see the revenue streams they have coming in, and they still continually raise prices. At the very least, I feel like there are things that could be done that you feel like that raise in prices is getting you something extra, and I just don't feel like that's there. You know what I mean? Like the maintenance end of things isn't there. The park seems... I've never seen more trash cans overflowing with trash than I have than recent trips. Mm-hmm. It's not like the in-park end of things is being run, meticulously. It just seems like a lot of this is raise prices for the sake of raising prices or going to the C-suite, like not necessarily bettering the product. And I think that's another complaint people have, talking about this stuff. But,
yeah.
Well,
thank you, everybody, for participating in the poll this week. I won't do a poll every week, as we had said previously. But if I have a question that I'm really, really wanting the answer to, or, is topical with what we're talking about, then I'll include it. So if you want to be part of poll time and the next poll time we have, you can join Capture the Magic Community Facebook group or on Instagram. We have a post in the stories as well.
Yes. So. All right. Well, let's move on to our segment, or I was going to say story segment, but discussion segment, which is date nights around Walt Disney World. So this is broken up into in the parks, outside the parks, other. Out in space. I don't really know all the parameters.
In your head, in your dreams. Just kidding.
VR, I suppose, is a potential one we could do here. So I suppose the first one we could list off in the park. We'll start with in the parks.
Okay.
We could go with dinner and a show.
I feel like this is an easy one. This is easy. Like, let's pick a park. Let's say Hollywood Studios. Dinner at Hollywood Brown Derby, and then watch Fantasmic. They even have Fantasmic dining packages for this reason. You can just do that. Great. That's your date night. Perfect. Same for Happily Ever After. Go to eat Cinderella's Royal Table. Go watch Happily Ever After. Luminous, obviously. Animal Kingdom doesn't have a late. I mean, like they do kind of, but it's not long, and it's kind of early in the day, like 6:00.
You don't have to include Animal
So
Kingdom.
Animal Kingdom, I don't know about that one.
You can leave Animal Kingdom where it's at. It's fine.
So I'd say not, but like that's very like easy to do. Be like, oh yeah, dinner and fireworks, perfect, love it.
True.
It's like, yeah.
I don't know. I have nothing to add to that.
And then also dessert parties. Magic Kingdom has the fireworks dessert parties, and those. I mean, I feel like those are good date nights because the food's built into that and fireworks. So like that could be just your date night alone, unless you do dinner as well. But again, that is something that you can do for date night. Thinking about dining packages at Epcot, so they have the Luminous dining packages. I believe it's at Rose and Crown and Spice Road Table. I think those are the two options where you can have dinner, and then you have like special like seating to be able to watch Luminous. So again, a date night package all in one. It's great.
True.
Are we ever going to do a dining package, you think?
Am I supposed to say yes?
No, I mean, for us specifically, like we kind of like, we don't typically eat a lot of food like at Disney because we're always like go. So it's like a lot of food they get, and then it's the cost. Of course, you have to think about the cost. And I don't know. I don't think we've ever done any kind of dining package before.
Since I feel like you want to, sure, we will one day.
No, I'm legitimately asking. Like the Festival of the Arts, they've got dining packages for the Disney on Broadway series. You've got the Garden Rocks dining package. You've got the Food and Wine Festival, the Eat to the Beat dining package, and then the Candlelight Processional dining package, where you go eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You get credentials for the concert series or the performance or whatever it is going on in the America Pavilion, and watch that performance later that evening. And it's a great date night.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
We will do that.
Okay. Something else that could be romantic would be a capture your moment photo session, which we actually did this.
We did. Yeah, this is true.
It was with my sister and our families, but this could be a great kind of like anniversary thing, or even like an engagement thing where you take pictures. It's only 20 minutes, but you can like stack them, and you take pictures around like the castle if you want, or depending on what park you're in. And it's kind of a cool memento. I think that's kind of a good date, more like a date thing.
I would try and get a session as close as you could in the evening, because nobody wants 1 p.m. harsh Florida light pictures.
Harsh.
There's nothing you can do to make those look anything but sweaty.
It's true. That's a good point.
That's what I would personally recommend on those, but that's just my 2 cents.
You can do fun things like park scavenger hunt. They've got like kits you can get like online and everything, where people have made like lists of what you can do scavenger hunts with at the parks. That's kind of fun. There's also you can make your own tiara.
Yes.
At Magic Kingdom. That's great for ladies.
Oh.
And Jared.
Well, I thought these were date night. I thought these were date night ideas. Not
wouldn't that be great for I guess for anybody? If you want a tiara, go make yourself a tiara. We'll get you one, Jared.
I thought these were. Is this a date thing to get a tiara?
These are all ideas for you to keep in your back pocket.
I'm getting an idea here of what a date entails, which is what a certain person wants to do, and the other one's like, let's go for it.
No. You can also do special events like after hours. I think that's a kind of a cool date night, like go to dinner and then go to an after hours event.
See, to me, that money be way more worth it than a dining package or something.
So this over dining package.
I personally don't think dining packages are anywhere near worth it, considering unless there's a band that you just absolutely love and you are worried you won't be able to sit there to see, because usually you're able to get a seat for these concerts more than likely.
Yeah, Candlelight's a little harder. And then if there's a really popular band, like at Eat to the Beat, maybe not, but yeah.
Right, but me personally, I think in after hours, like you have more time, you do have less people in the park, like it's a little bit more...
You're romantic.
Well, like at least you have a little bit more like the park feels more intimate. You're able to do stuff like that. I feel like that money be way more worth it versus a dining package.
Yeah. Also, seasonal parties like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Those can also be in facto date nights.
They can. I still think an after hours would be a better idea than because those parties are so busy.
They are busy.
It's not like you're going to be able to just like. I feel like there's all this pressure with those parties too to try and get a bunch of stuff done. Whereas date nights, I think, are supposed to be more fun and like you talk and relaxing. I don't feel like that any of those parties really fit that criteria.
I think a good one is to, you could do okay, fair enough. But like, what about going back to dinner and a show or dinner, whatever? How about like dinner at Skipper Canteen, for example, and then watch fireworks. And then if the park's open after, maybe do a ride or two, but definitely end the night with People Mover and like sit next to each other and hold hands.
I didn't think we were going to take things to that level, but
there's hand holding, guys.
Okay.
I think that's nice. I think that's a nice
that
date
would be a
night.
nice night. Yeah.
Tomorrowland Speedway, just bump each other.
That's true.
That's intimate. Just kidding.
That's very true.
What about drinking in the world? Is that a good date night activity, or is that more just like with like friendly, like for friends?
I mean, if your intention is to drink around the world, like all the spots, I don't feel like that's a great date night idea. Just because I don't know who wants to be sloppy drunk on their date.
That's a good point. So maybe not.
I mean, you could get a drink.
Right.
And walk around, but...
Or you can go into France and get a champagne flight. Our friends did that this a couple years ago or 2 years ago or something like that. They do offer that. They also have like beer flights like in Germany. They also used to have, and I think this would be kind of cool for a date night thing, is a wine walk. Have you heard of this?
I'm imagining you walk around with wine.
No. So it's Germany, France, and Italy participate. And again, I don't know if this is still a thing, but it used to be. And it was like $32 at the time. And each country of those three would give you like a little, like not sample. Well, it's a sample, but it's like maybe like 1 or 2 pours of red and white wine from each country.
But you don't like wine.
I'm saying this is a good idea for a date night.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But like, I think that would be kind of cool. Again, I'm not sure, and I couldn't find any definitive information if it actually is still going on because I've never done it. But it used to. It was going on. I think this is pre-COVID though, so I may have to check. We have to check on this. But yeah. So besides that, I mean, like rides. I mean, honestly, having a date night just at the park. And just riding your favorite rides. Let's say like you have like a challenge. Like let's ride Tower of Terror, 3 times in a row or something. And then ride something else 3 times in a row or, do challenges like that. That's kind of fun.
I think I'm much more of an organic date night person in that I would much rather just figure out something we'd like to do on our own versus like, as some sort of prepackaged like, date thing, you know what I mean? Like, buy your tickets for dinner so you get to the show. Like, I would much rather just be like, no, let's get a drink here and go do this and go like, you find your own little like pockets of things you want to do. I think that's more interesting as a date versus some sort of like prepackaged.
Oh man,
what?
Our personalities are definitely showing here.
I don't want to be told.
I like planning. Jared's like, let's do whatever we want by the seat of our pants.
No, you can still plan it ahead of time. I'm just saying, like, I don't want corporate overlords. You'll notice the theme with this. Telling me how I'm supposed to spend a date. It's like, I can piece together a date on my own, Mr. Valentine's Corporation. I can figure this one out.
Gosh. Okay.
All right. Anything else in the parks you can think of?
Not at the moment, but give me time. I might, as we're talking.
Okay. Maybe we'll come back to this.
Maybe.
All right. We'll move to outside the parks. Of course, you've got Disney Springs. So you can easily do like dinner and a movie. There's tons of restaurants there.
AMC movie theaters there.
Mm-hmm. You could do bowling at Splitsville. You could do French clowns if that's your thing. Cirque du Soleil.
Oh yeah.
That's something you would enjoy to do. You could do a bar crawl.
Yeah, you could do bar crawl. You could do lounge crawl. You could do A happy hour crawl, which I think would be really fun to do sometime. You can get some good deals in Disney Springs.
You get better deals at Disney Springs than you can in the parks for sure.
Sometimes.
If that's something you're looking to do.
Dinner and shopping, because obviously Disney Springs has a lot of shopping. So just go to dinner and spend more money on stuff. That's fun.
Always romantic.
And then isn't there like a band right outside of Splitsville that plays like a live band? They have like live music going on all the time.
I think they have some, I don't know if it's there's usually somebody playing out there.
Yeah. You can do dinner. You can go up to Coca-Cola, the rooftop Coca-Cola, have a drink. I don't think they're alcoholic anymore, but you can have a regular drink and just observe the view.
You can just have a Coke.
Have a Coke if you want. Yes. And some of the romantic places for dinner, I think would be good date nights, would be
Chicken Guy.
Chicken Guy. Boathouse. Classic. Wine Bar George is good. Morimoto Asia, which we have never had before. Paddlefish. STK Steakhouse is good. What else is a good? Haleo, maybe? I haven't had Haleo before.
I have never had it, so I can't. I mean, you could do
Summer House.
I was going to say Summer House would be a pretty good spot.
Yeah. I wouldn't say Polite Pig is a good date night. It's very loud in there. Maybe Maria and Enzo's, stuff like that. I mean, those are good places to have a like dinner there. You could also go up in the hot air balloon, like the Aerophile. That's what Jared and I are doing.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
You would not enjoy yourself up there with me. I'll just say that right now. Nobody. If I had to go up in that thing, nobody else is having a good time.
There you go.
You would just see me
Jared's
in the middle cursing. You'd be like, "Why is he so angry?" You'd be like, "He doesn't like being up here."
So not for Jared. They also have events all the time going on, like wine tasting at Wine Bar George. They've got like tasting events going on all the time. So I mean, there's a slew of stuff you can do at Disney Springs besides just shopping and eating, and there's also events going on. So lots of date night options there.
I mean, if you're a crazy person, you could do the floating cars.
Oh yeah, the what's it called? Amphicars.
Amphibicars.
Amphibicars, not amphibians.
I don't know.
They're amphicars.
Whatever they are.
They're amphicars.
I don't trust them.
Okay.
Never have.
You're right. Amphicars, that would be super romantic. But don't you have a person driving for you?
Yeah, yet another reason I don't.
There's another guy.
I would not trust it.
There's another guy.
Nothing like having another dude drive you around while you're powerless in a floating vehicle.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
romantic.
It's you're not like alone with your person. You have another guy or a girl just chilling with you.
I don't like situations in a date where it's like that. Like, first off, I don't trust a car that also goes in the water. Just look into the ducks. All I'm going to say is look into that thing. And then I was proven right many years ago as a child. We went on a field trip to those things. What were they called? Ozark ducks?
The ducks. Just ride the ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember we went on a field trip, and it was the whole thing was like you drive on the road and it goes in the water, and I'm like, this is a terrible idea. And then there was a really bad thing that happened on one of those, and I was like, see, told you guys forever, horrible idea.
Okay.
And they still have them out there.
So if you do dinner, if you're at Disney Springs, you do dinner and there's some kind of activity or whatever, you could also end with dessert. And you've got like swirls in the water. You can do some Dole Whip there. You've got sprinkles. You can do a cupcake. You can do Gideon's, get cookies. You can do Summer House. They have the cookie bar over there. Salt and Straw has ice cream.
True.
So lots of.
They used to have a cigar lounge, but
oh yeah,
they don't have that anymore.
They don't have that anymore. And then Raglan Road, they've got some good times. Their brunch is cool. They do a lot of they have live performances all the time, but I think brunch they had cloggers where they were, so lots of cool opportunities there. But yeah, lots to do at Disney Springs for date nights. Lots.
Yes, there's lots of things to do there for sure.
Yeah, and so you can also do outside of Disney Springs the old 1-2 punch, as I call it.
The old 1-2 punch.
1-2 punch. You got dinner at a hotel and then drinks at a lounge.
Okay.
That's nice, right? You could also.
I never knew it was known as the old 1-2 punch.
The 1-2 punch. Drinks or dinner and drinks or drinks and dinner. Yeah, you could do lounge first and then dinner, whatever. I think it's kind of fun to do like dinner at one of the Boardwalk Resort restaurants like Flying Fish or Trattoria or even the Cake Bake Shop. Then like watch the Boardwalk acts, because they always have those people out there doing stuff like look at us balance or look at this. We can guess, your age or whatever. All the stuff they do like on the boardwalk.
True.
Like Atlantic City. You can enjoy ice cream or even cake at Cake Bake Shop. Maybe go to Jelly Rolls or Atlantic City Dance Hall.
For a little bit, I suppose.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of activities to
I
do
don't
at
think
Boardwalk.
Jelly Rolls is a good date night spot, considering you can't talk to each other due to the sheer sounds of everything in there. But
it's entertainment, though. Got the pianos going, the singing. It's great. But not for long. They're going to be leaving us soon. It's for sure.
I mean, you have the Atlantic Dance Hall where you could go see mid-2000s music videos playing.
It's true. You could. Or you could walk around to the beach at Beach Club and just sit in one of the, they have the hammocks and they have the swinging, what are they called? The swinging, the swings.
They're just swings.
The swings. The
See,
swings.
I would much rather do
chill there.
that. So, like, I would much rather sit down and talk and have a nice conversation versus, like, going into Jelly Rolls or some really loud place. That's
fair.
To me, I don't have any desire. There's not an ounce of me in my bones where I'm just like, I want to go to Jelly Rolls or anything remotely like it. Be like, hey, let's walk around the beach and enjoy a nice scenic view. I'm like, that sounds nice.
That's so nice.
Or a nice
And
quiet
talk.
drink around a table.
Mm-hmm.
See, here's my thing. I don't want to be around a lot of other people.
Okay.
If I can be totally fair here, or totally honest here. Especially on a date night situation.
Okay.
If you're like, there's a bunch of people here, I want to do the opposite of that.
Okay.
Just
Fair
for
enough.
me personally.
Fair enough. All right.
So if there's one other person, I'm walking away.
Well, I understand. My point being, Boardwalk is a great place to do a date night for a lot of different activities if you want, including just sitting on a swing. You can also do that.
True.
But if you want to go over to the monorail hotels, that monorail area, you could do dinner at one of the monorail hotels and watch fireworks. Always a good idea. California Grill, you watch the fireworks on the terrace up there, which we have done.
True.
Did you like that, by the way? Like, did you like watching the fireworks that high, but like to the side?
I don't think it's my favorite way to watch the fireworks. It's unique, but you don't get any aspect of the show, like on the castle and stuff.
Yeah, you do miss that. And it's crazy to see how far back the fireworks are from the castle. Mm-hmm. That's kind of funny. From Poly, you could have dinner and watch the fireworks at the same time at that Wailulu place that just opened in the tower.
Yeah, I mean, if you were able to
That's
get a
very new
seat
one.
down there,
Yeah.
it would be a nice date night spot. And the food's pretty good.
Cool. That'd be cool. You could also, watch the fireworks. It wouldn't be dinner, but if you were staying at the hotel, you could go up to one of the terraces in the tower and watch the fireworks from there.
True.
So that's kind of cool. You can also see fireworks from Narcoossee's. You can see from Ohana, even the Dahlia Lounge. You can see fireworks from there at Coronado Springs. Even the TTC. Sometimes Topolino's, depending on where, how late it is and where you're standing outside the terrace. Even Swan and Dolphin and Swan Reserve have fireworks views. So you can always be there and watch fireworks.
True.
So lots of places.
I mean, if you're a DVC member, you could do the Top of the World Lounge.
Yes.
Although the view is very similar to California Grill.
It's even more to the side.
Yeah. But it is a unique, more secluded experience up there.
Yeah, for sure. And, we just did this a couple weeks ago, but you could do a private fireworks cruise. This might be one of the most romantic ways to do it, like to do a date night.
Except you got the captain there guy with you.
Except for the captain.
And sometimes they get talky.
If you just be like, shh.
I would tip
Just wanna
extra for silence.
Right.
Could you just drive
Exactly.
the boat and no talking, please? Thank you.
Right.
It's kind of like an Uber driver. The last thing you want to do is get into an Uber car with a very talkative Uber driver.
It's true.
I'm just like, I will pay you more to just not.
Well, and we talked about this last week. So if you want to learn more about the fireworks cruise, you can go listen to our previous episode. But you can do that. And there's also the fairy tale fireworks cruise, which is like a dessert party, but it's not private. You're going to be with people that you don't know. So that's a little less romantic, but still, it could be a good date night option.
True.
And then our friends, I mentioned this because I thought this would be kind of cool, but our friends went to Four Seasons a couple weeks ago during the meetup, and they went to a speakeasy.
That's interesting.
Which, they were just very, like, they didn't know much about it, and apparently there's, like, a code you have to say, and, like, they bought tickets for it, and it's crazy. They have to ask someone, like, where it is. I was like, oh, dang, that's pretty cool. I'd do that.
So you actually have to ask people where this thing is?
She said that the instruction where you have to ask a certain person, like, give a code, ask them certain person, like, we're here for this, and then he tells you where to go.
Interesting.
I know. I was like, oh, that's so speakeasy. You can also dine at Victoria and Albert's, specifically at the chef's table.
Sure.
I mean,
sure.
Why not?
It's just...
I have millions of dollars. Sure. No, I'm just kidding. This probably won't be something that we ever do, but it is a date night option.
Do you want to do it?
No, I was saying I don't know.
Oh.
No, it's a lot of money to spend.
But you put it on
just
the
a meal.
list. I feel like this is a subtle way of you're saying you want to do it.
No, these are just date night options.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it is an option, and like I said, if you can afford it, it is. I've heard that it's great, so something to do. Fort Wilderness, I think it would be cool to do a relaxing stroll around Circle D Ranch, maybe do horseback riding, hoop-de-doo review, and then you can go to the Chippendale campfire.
That would be a unique one to do.
That's something I would do also with our children. That wouldn't even just be date night. I think they would enjoy that.
I thought you meant a date night with their kids. It's really not a date night. It's just a family outing.
Fun night.
Yeah.
But I would do a date night thing as well. That seems pretty chill. That's not like too, like not pressure to have fun. It's just like, oh, let's just do this. It's great.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You can also do horse and carriage rides. They have that at Port Orleans, Riverside, and Fort Wilderness. You could do Animal Kingdom Lodge night safari. You could do dinner at the Animal Kingdom Lodge and then do a night safari. Would you like to do that? I'm just kidding. I know you would.
I love animals in the daytime.
Love animals.
I would love them even more at nighttime. They're like, hey, here's a lion. What's he doing? He's sleeping. Oh.
Stop.
What's that one? It's a giraffe. What's he doing? He's also sleeping. Like, this is amazing.
Moving on. You also do Sangria University at Three Bridges, which did you do that one with me?
I did not.
Okay. That's actually a pretty cool experience. Definitely a adults only thing, obviously, because it's alcohol. But you can learn a lot and sample sangrias and how you like yours to be. And I think that'd be a good date night for people.
I don't know anything about sangria, but yeah, that could be cool.
I like sangria. Let's just say that.
Okay.
You can also do a pool date. Rent a cabana at the pool and just chill at the pool for hours. Get food delivered to your chair or bring it back to your chair.
Even if I had even if money was no option, I would rather do that versus Victoria and Albert's.
Yeah.
Making a big fuss out of food is something I have no desire to do on any level.
This is true.
This was flown in, but don't care. Don't care. But would you rather chill in a cabana and relax by a pool and have food brought to you that's pretty good? And you're like, that sounds fantastic.
Jared's like, feed my muscles. I don't care about my palate.
I very much look at food as it tasting good is a plus. Mm-hmm. But it's more about sustenance. But yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't need to know if my cow was massaged by 15 different massage therapists that are specialized in the art of tender. I'm like, I don't care. It can't taste that much different. I'm sure it's good, but it's like a $20 steak or a $1,500 steak. I'm like, it's not that much better. Let's be honest here.
Well, you never had $1,500 steak then.
That's fair. Yeah. That is very fair. Nor probably will I ever do that.
You never know. Komodo's Lounge at the Swan has karaoke. You could do karaoke.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
That's not a good date night activity.
I love people singing around me. I just love it. It's the best. Especially people that can't sing. and they grab the microphone. And it's like, oh, how romantic.
Also, too, in talking about how you would do date night and kind of being like chill and quiet, whatever, you could also find like, I was thinking Wilderness Lodge, for example. There's so many places, like nooks and crannies of like seating all over that lobby and like the different levels.
Oh, you could do a date night in Wilderness Lodge
You
alone.
could
Yeah.
literally, yes, go to like Artist Point or even Territory Lounge, Whispering Canyon, whatever. You can have dinner, then you can like go to Geyser Point, have a drink, watch what is this? What's the show on the water? My brain hurts. The electrical water pageant.
Yes.
And then you could just go to the lobby and just chill. You could, if the fire's going, sit in the rocking chairs.
That's very true. That sounds like a good time.
Oh gosh, I love Wilderness Lodge. I love Wilderness Lodge. So I would love to do that. You could also do other resort activities like painting. You can do painting classes sometimes at like Toledo, at Coronado Springs. You can paint a storybook at Enchanted Rose, Grand Floridian. You can paint a castle at Contemporary. I mean, there's just tons to do. Some of it is more romantic than others, but still, it's a good like date scenario.
True. Very true.
So yeah. One thing. Okay, would you like a Skyliner date? Like you had a Skyliner all to yourself, and like you just
Like stay on the Skyliner?
or like travel to different like lounge hopping or whatever between like Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
Well, we've done that before.
Yeah, but like, do you think that's a good date scenario?
Yeah, it can be.
Okay.
I mean, as long as the Skyliner doesn't get stuck.
Well, that's the thing. If you get stuck, then it gets real interesting up there.
Super interesting. Very romantic.
I've also seen this, and I think that's cool. Have you heard of a choose your own adventure date?
I have.
Okay, so it's like
Kind of how I choose to live my dates out.
okay, it's basically where you choose like someone has this already predetermined. Like usually is the guy. They write down two places to go. Let's say at Disney, you say Magic Kingdom and Epcot, and one's on one car, one's on the other, and you have your date. Pick one. Let's say they pick Epcot, and then you have two options. Where do you want to eat dinner? Do you want to eat at, I don't know, Garden Grill or Le Cellier? I know that's a terrible like difference.
Those
but
are two places.
different places. But let's say you pick Le Cellier. Okay, you eat at Le Cellier. What ride do you do next? And have Living the Land or Finding Nemo or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different things you can choose from, but that's how your date is determined. So you don't really go in knowing exactly what you're gonna do, but you have like an outline.
I think that's a lot more fun than having something predetermined a lot of times.
Yeah. I actually think that'd be really fun to do. We should do that sometime.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Shot that down real fast. Okay.
I just thought it'd be funny to say, yeah, that sounds like a good time. No, we're not doing it.
Okay. And the last one that I've had in my brain was just get engaged.
Again?
Get proposed to. That's the best date
Are you talking
night.
about for you?
No. In general. For
Oh.
people. Getting engaged.
In front
That's
of
the
people?
Best date night. Who knows?
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess. I mean, if your relationship is ready for it, then sure, but don't do it for a date night idea.
But how cool is it to get engaged at Disney? It's pretty cool.
If you should get married.
Okay. Fair enough.
Marriage is not for children, as I like to say. It's not some cool
Marriage
thing.
is
Be like,
not
what we
for
should do?
children.
Just let's get married. It'll fix all our problems. Like, no, it won't. Don't do that.
What's a good date night scenario for like if you're staying at Riviera, for example, or you're having dinner at Riviera? Like, what are some of the things you could do at Riviera? You could do like Topolino's for dinner. You could go down to Bar Riva and have like after dinner drinks. You could chill by the pool. I'm trying to think of like different scenarios if you're staying at a certain hotel and you just have like almost like a staycation date, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it most of the hotels. I
I
mean,
know, I love
Riviera, that's
that.
about all you could really do there.
Yeah, they don't have much.
You could hop on the Skyliner and go somewhere from there
Yeah.
too. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that at all the resorts. Like,
Yeah. I just love how many options you have at Disney to do like these dates or there's these like fun things to do, and then just kind of piece them together. And I just love it.
It's true.
I
You do have lots of options, lots of space to do
options.
things.
And of course, you can do tours, and you can do enchanting extras. If you go onto the website and you look at enchanting extras, there's tons of stuff you can do there. I think somebody did a pie, or a cake making class at Amarettes. That could be kind of cool at Disney Springs.
That could be interesting.
That could be also cool. But like, yeah, stuff like that. So
I mean, I feel like the one that would give you the most possibilities would be Disney Springs. It just there's so many different things you could do there.
Yeah. But if you told, okay, if I asked, hey, Jared, let's do a date night. In your brain, what's the first thing you're going to think of? Like, okay, if we're doing a date night, I want to do this for sure.
Like at Disney?
Yeah.
I don't know. In my head, I just think the after hours fits more.
You like the after hours?
I don't know. I'm not going to be drawn toward like if Disney were to sell some sort of like, here's a date night package. I'm like, no, I don't want your date night package. Tell me how to live my dates. All right. I don't need Josh D'Amaro and his crew planning out my love life.
Here's what you need to do. We need to get back to when Disneyland used to have like date nights.
Now that would be cool if they did stuff like that, like old
everybody
school.
got dressed up.
Yeah.
And like came to the parks. Like it was like only adults.
I like the idea of that. I mean, it would be a cool idea. I think the idea of that would be fun.
I love that.
For whatever reason, I don't think they'll do that at Disney World.
No, I mean, they do stuff at Disneyland like Sweethearts Night they just had, which is kind of date night-ish. They have like Disney After Dark. It's Disney After Dark events or whatever. And they don't really have that at Disney World right now, but stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you forgot one of the most romantic things you can do is go to the McDonald's near All-Star Movies.
We have done that more than once.
Not as a date night.
Not as a date night, but we have definitely done that more than once.
Just saying.
Yeah.
You could go there and then go to All-Star Movies, which is the most romantic resort on property.
No, the most romantic is sports.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
This big burly foosballman.
Stay in the Mighty Ducks section.
I love the Mighty Ducks is in All-Star Movies. Haha.
I always forget that.
Which is super confusing.
Which doesn't make any... kind of makes sense, but I feel like the Mighty Ducks section should be a giant Gordon Bombay.
You think?
Or like a giant limo on the ice because he drove a limo into the ice and tried to kill those kids.
That would be pretty cool. Well, not the killing part, but just having a limo on the ice. Yeah.
I do like the idea of getting in trouble with a DUI. They're like, you're going to go coach little kids. You're like, no.
Listen, you alcoholic. Get around other kids.
Listen, you alcoholic. Here's a bunch of kids you're in charge of, all right? And one of them has a hot mom. Go get it. And you're like...
That's literally the movie.
That is the movie.
So sad.
That is the movie.
Well, anyway, there's more options, but that is just kind of what we kind of came up with. Anything else you have that I didn't think of that you forgot to?
It's a pretty
brainstorm?
comprehensive list.
I know,
mean,
it's pretty comprehensive.
I've kind of said my preferences in general. I think I'm much more like simplistic about mine. Maybe more. I like the idea of like a choose your own adventure, sort of like on the spur of the moment type of thing, versus some elaborately planned out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I operate. I like a decent outline, but I don't need like a minute by minute. Like we're gonna do this, then this, then this, and like my brain immediately shuts down, and I don't have near as much fun. But a nice outline, I'm like, okay, that's cool.
I think next time it's just you and I, and we're staying overnight at Disney, I think we should do a choose your own adventure date.
I'm down with that.
I think we should do it and test out what the possibilities are. You could do.
That's fair.
The possibilities.
Anything is possible.
Anyway.
Anything else you want to add?
No, just the Valentine's Day. If you're going to be at Disney for Valentine's Day, these are some good options.
Yes. So if you need some ideas for not even date nights at Disney necessarily, or at home for Valentine's Day, here you go. Maybe this list can kickstart some things. But
there you go.
There's a list of things you can do there, and good ideas there. Mostly those are yours. So,
I mean, my brain does work a little differently than yours, and thinking about different things to do at Disney and with date night, it seems to be in my wheelhouse more than yours.
So you're going to ask me about date night. I might have had 4 or 5.
Yeah, he had some. All right. It wasn't just me.
I don't think anybody that's listened to the show for any amount of time is shocked I didn't have as many ideas as you did about this.
I know. It's okay. It's all good.
Now, you did mention on here get to a secluded area and watch National Treasure and have a chat,
didn't
because
say
that would be
that.
one of the best times we could have.
I didn't say that, did I? I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
I'm
I
sorry.
thought you knew me and loved me, but apparently it's okay.
Wow.
It's okay.
Wow.
We all get our own type of Valentine's Day, apparently.
What's happening? What are we saying?
I don't know. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for the show. Be sure to follow us on social media. We're at Captain Magic everywhere, even TikTok for as long as it's around. Check us there. Be sure to check us out over also at Captain Magic on YouTube. Almost at 10,000 subs over there. And have an Epic Universe construction video coming out this week. So if you're looking at as that construction wraps up and getting ready for previews and things like that going to go on with Epic Universe, which is very exciting. You can check it over there on that channel. Then, of course, if you want video versions of the show, you can go to CTM Podcast over on YouTube and check out the videos there and subscribe to the channel over there. And we also have some other shows on the network. We have the CTM Universal show. We were talking about Universal Studios, and we just had an episode come out on Tuesday where we talked about our Mardi Gras experience and a little bit of some Epic Universe news that had happened the last few weeks, which is going to continue to happen more because there's going to be a lot of news coming out. And that show eventually is going to be a weekly show.
Yep.
So that will become that once Epic Universe gets closer and closer to opening, we'll have enough stuff there to talk about each and every week there. And then Jamie has Trip Tales, which is her trip report show. And what's the next one there coming out?
A Monday. Monday.
All right. And then be sure, if you want even more content, you want to be part of a cool group of people, you want to interact with us a little bit more, you can join Club 32, and that's like our own little Patreon, except we host it on our own end. And we have weekly live streams. We have additional content like Cool Kids Kitchen. We have the Clubhouse. We have in-park live streams. Sometimes we have in-room reviews as well. We stay at different hotels. You have 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products, a private Facebook group. There's meetups. Again, it's a good group if you want to, ask people about opinions about things in the parks, whether it's Disney or Universal. Most people in that group go to the parks all the time, so you can always pick their brain. Or if you're torn on what to do or a place to go eat, a lot of times people can give you feedback there and help you plan some things out. So it's a good group to rely on there. And so it's just a good group, and you can get a little more interactivity and help contribute to the show if that's something you'd like to do. So you can go to ctmvip.com. We have monthly or yearly options, and you can even do a free trial if that's something you want to try it for yourself. Or if you do a yearly, you get a free t-shirt. So either way, you get something for free by joining over there. So again, if you want to join Club 32, go to ctmvip.com. If you'd like to join, we would love to have you. So, all right, well, I think that's going to do it for the show. So thank you, everybody, for listening and or watching. And thank you, Jamie, for joining us.
I thank you.
And as Jamie always likes to say,
We will see you in the parks.
bye.